Support by Trustee Wagner. We'll do a roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No money. All right. Motion carries, and welcome, Bob and Rachel. Thank you very much for what you're going to contribute to this community. So Jim's got a request to move some funds. Let him explain that a little bit. I think he might be working on a.
Yeah, we're just checking. All of our system says we're up and fine on YouTube. I initiate contact with two other people, so it's not the individuals are having trouble with volume on YouTube. We'll have to sort that out later. We do have the Zoom up and running. So what we'll end up doing is this machine has a backup, and if the backup didn't record the audio for some reason, we'll put the Zoom save meeting up so people can view it. But everything we have running in this room shows audio going there. So we'll just have to figure out the glitch, if you will, on Tuesday morning, I guess. So, item number 12C, I initiated looking on the balances and that we hold on sewer, water, and brownfield, and could establish a better rate from Kelsey Credit Union. And I'd looking for support and approval for the council to authorize myself to initiate that transfer of money into Kelsey Credit Union here at their local branch.
I do have a question about that. Would that then close the Kalamazoo County State Bank account?
We might keep a tax revolving account there open, but that would be just on the movement of our tax money. But we would report back on that if we end up doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, how much money are we looking at here?
Approximate numbers. Michelle had to fly out last week for a family situation out of state, but it is in excess of $500,000.
And this is going to be to Ryan's credit union.
To Kelsey Credit
Kelsey
Union.
Credit
Ryan
Union.
didn't have.
No, but it's the one that he manages
Correct.
here locally.
That's correct.
You don't consider that a conflict of interest?
Not a bit. Ryan, it will be I've already talked to Ryan that for him to vote on will be, and I've asked him to explain that. But I, as a village manager, feel it's my responsibility to place the public's money in the best place that we can receive an interest rate.
And I agree with that. But at some point, somebody's going to step up and say, isn't this a conflict of interest? If he abstains his vote, that alone shows it right there, that there's a possibility of a conflict of interest.
The conflict of interest does not lie with myself nor the village of Vicksburg. The conflict is with you as elected officials, and in this case specific, Ryan Wagner.
Right.
If a citizen asked, Ryan had nothing to do with the initiation of me looking to see where this money would be safe and secure and drawing a higher interest rate.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm trying to point out is that someone down the line is going to question this.
I'm not sure why they would.
Well, a lot of things happen, and a lot of people ask questions that it's a simple answer. But
yeah, I'd answer that the village manager looked for the higher interest rate and was fortunate enough to receive one from a bank that is local.
Mm-hmm. I'm just asking the question for future reference. I want it on the record. This is why I'm asking this. Okay, it's nothing against you. It's nothing against Ryan. But at some point, someone's going to ask a question. And we're covering the bases. Okay? Thank you.
Jim, what's the difference in the interest rates from
was I want to say a couple tenths difference on the point.
I just want to clarify real quick too, from what I heard from Trustee Olson. You said that if Trustee Wagner abstained, that would show more conflict of interest. Is that what you said?
No, I think I'm once again I'm covering the bases. Okay, someone's going to ask at some point why.
I no, I
And
understand. I
yeah,
understand, Trustee Olson. I'm asking it because I thought I heard you say that if he voted to abstain, that would mean that
no,
there would
he
be a
should
conflict.
abstain. I mean, I would be the
That
first to stand up and say he should abstain from the vote. But some citizen at some point is going to question this. State Attorney General Schuette and I met several times, and Schuette always says that if it looks like a conflict of interest, chances are it probably is. So he said always question it. Well, I'm doing just that point right now. So,
President Frisbee, if I could, would like to remind the council that over the course of my 4-year tenure that I've seen council members abstain from votes. I would say myself when the village went with a specific waste management company. I had a brother-in-law that actually worked for that company. I abstained from it. I believe Trustee Keller, when there was electrical service being done within the village, his company was involved. He abstained from that vote. That time, I don't believe we've ever had a conversation that there was an issue or the presence of an impropriety by us abstaining from the vote. I do respect what Trustee Olson is saying, but on this particular matter, I think again that historically there's been a precedent that's been set where, if in fact you are you do have some exposure as it relates to that vote, then by certainly you must remove yourself from the vote. But from my own perspective, I don't see an issue with this.
Can I clarify something and ask Trustee Olson to correct me if I'm wrong? What I believe Denny was gaining some assurances of is that Trustee Wagner would not be voting on this issue, which other council member, no one on the board except Trustee Wagner knows that I contacted him before when we made a decision as staff that we would present this to council. At that point, I contacted Trustee Wagner to inform him that he would have to abstain from this vote and for the reasons. I don't believe, and I'm not saying any other council member believes that, but I don't believe in Trustee Olson's comments were questioning the motives of staff or concerns of the village, but just that he's aware of employment and wanted to assure that that was clarified, I believe.
I agree with that. But also, when we've had the work done by the garbage company and the electric company, and that we're talking a few hundred, few $1,000s. We're not talking $500,000.
Well, yes,
And now you see where the question is going to come up.
the this money is going to be placed in a financial institution that brings some additional revenue. In the other incidences, they were contracts that over the course of time, one of those contracts is coming up next month. In fact, that was just shy of $70,000, and then tens of thousands on the other one. But and those
President
were
Frisbee,
expenditures.
yeah, I'm going to remind the council too, and this is a financial institution, so I mean, they have to operate above board as well. But I'm going to remind this council that I abstained from a vote 2 years ago with Melbacher and Sons. That was a $10 million project, Trustee Olson. That the only connection I had with that was I went to high school with the owner of the company.
Okay.
Hadn't seen him in 30 years, and I still abstained.
Yeah.
So just so we're clear, I mean,
Mhm.
I told Manager Mallory at the time that I was going to abstain just because I didn't want anybody tracing back that, hey, you went to high school with the guy. Yeah, I did. We spoke once through the whole project. So it basically just said, how's it going down there? And I said, I think everything's fine. So that was the extent of it.
Okay.
So
Any further questions or comments? Ultimately, we are charged with the taxpayers' money here, and we put ourselves in a position to earn as much money on that as we can. So I'm in agreement with moving it to the best interest rate we have possible. And if that was in Kalamazoo, I'd support that. It's
that gets locals a bonus.
local is a bonus. So with that, we have a request to make that transfer. I'm looking for council view on this.
President Frisbee, I move that we authorize the village manager to transfer a balance of dollars from Kalamazoo County State Bank to Kelsey Credit Union.
Trustee Holmes, I second.
And President Frisbee, do I make a motion to abstain from the vote? Or is
No,
that just a
you
part?
just
Okay.
abstain when you're called. And if you would, please, Christian, do a roll call.
Trustee Holmes,
Yes.
Trustee Reister,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
I abstain.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Fields,
Yes.
President Pro Tem Keller,
Yes.
President Frisbee.
Yes. Motion carries. So that moves us on to village manager report.
Yes. Well, I'm very pleased. Just gotta get my sheets organized. That the village is being recognized by the Southwest Michigan branch of the APWA for our downtown improvements, and they are announcing that we, the village of Vicksburg, have received their project of the year in the category of improvements to the environment, $1 million to $15 million. The American Public Works Association Southwest Branch is going to hold its annual awards banquet at the Portage Community Senior Center. And during that annual awards banquet, they'll be recognizing the village of Vicksburg's project downtown as an award winner. And there'll be President Frisbee and President Pro Temp Keller and myself, Christian, Michelle, and Randy there to receive the award on December 6th. But the village of Vicksburg, and I will note that no one from the village put in for this award. It was put in by an outside person for us. Found out after the fact, so it's nice getting that recognition, and we received that notice back on November 10th is when we were notified of that. So
Yeah,
question.
that was pretty interesting. When I saw it, I called Jim and I said, Jim, did who put that in? He goes, I don't know. So that's I don't know.
We,
Jim,
I, well,
who put in the
Prine,
recommendation?
I believe Prine Newhoff
That makes sense.
initiated it. So, yeah, and so it's very interesting. I took a call today. It's not on the manager's report, but from actually a entity from the state of Florida on events that are going in the village of Vicksburg, in the village of Vicksburg. So interesting conversation on how news travels distances. I did want to remind the council and the public, and we will be putting additional information out through our Facebook page, our email distribution list, is we have 2 more public master plan public meetings that we're encouraging the public to attend. This, the master plan is the guiding document that both the council and staff will utilize certainly over the next 5 fiscal years budgeting and predictably 6 or 8 years. So it's an opportunity for our citizens to participate in person. We have sent out surveys with all utility bills. We have the survey links and QR codes on our website, and we will between now and next March continually putting that out through social media and our contact list. But specific, the next master plan public meeting is a week from tomorrow, Tuesday, November 29th at 6 p.m. at the United Methodist Church here downtown. We'll be, again, sending out emails, but we encourage the public, people with the interest in downtown, on November 29th at 6 p.m. at the United Methodist Church to participate in that. So people know, certainly council members can attend, but staff usually, we've been asked by McKenna to not be there, and just because of the facilitation of the meeting goes well to have public input that way. The third public meeting is Thursday, December 8th at 6 p.m. and we're going to utilize Creekside Grill out at Angels Crossing Golf Course. So our first meeting was on a Wednesday, so we tried to pick 3 midweek days, and then we'll gather the information and reevaluate if we need additional meetings in the future, or because we definitely want to garner enough public input on what they want with the village as we move to the future. So,
Do you think it would be worthy that we reach out to some of the business owners to maybe put the
They'll-
QR code in their windows or prominently displayed on
No,
their?
yeah, that's a good idea. We can tomorrow, I believe it is, or certainly before Thanksgiving, we'll be distributing the posters we had made up for Christmas in the village. And we can have that QR code where people can hit it with their smartphones and take them right to the links, and we can do that. I can also have one made up, and we place it on one of our bifolds down in Oswald Park, so it's there as well.
That's good.
So,
All right. Yes.
Jim, just to clarify, as far as the meetings are concerned, the suggestion is from staff is that we don't attend those.
no. McKenna and Associates asked staff not to attend,
Okay.
but they would encourage council members
Okay.
to.
The reason I ask is because I love your idea, Tim, because in having canvassed, over the last 2 months for the election, I can tell you folks that the disinformation and misinformation in this community, you'd be very surprised. It's incredible. It really is, because literally people are believing facts that are just not even accurate to any degree. And it's simply because there's an echo chamber where the people that are in it just keep talking to one another, and then suddenly it becomes gospel. And I think I've had many conversations with one another about this, and at some point you realize there's a level of responsibility that individuals have to have, and so we can't go out and police, speak. But the one thing I was going to suggest is that each one of us step out of our circle of friends and those that we communicate with, talk to people, invite them to these meetings, because it's so important. Because here's the one thing that I found fascinating, and that is we've been talking about change for what, 5-6 years? What got everyone's attention? The infrastructure project, because change became real, it became visible, and then all of a sudden now people are paying attention, because okay, well, what does change mean? And so there's that misinformation, disinformation that's seeping out to people, and they're listening to it. And so I just wanted to share that with you, what I saw over the last couple of months, as it relates to talking with people in the village.
Yeah, and I encourage all of us to speak with others and encourage them to take part in this. I was, I shouldn't say disappointed, but I was a little bit let down with the number of people we had come to our first event this past Wednesday. It was great interaction with people that were there, uh, and they are there because they genuinely want to see this village move in the right direction. So, the more we get this out to everybody, the better off we'll be. Because I believe the more influence we have by everybody, it'll give us a better picture of our goal from in the 5 year plan to 10 years down the road. And one thing I encouraged everybody I talked to was that, and Jim made a comment a couple of meetings ago, right? Nothing that we have done here and what the staff doesn't get vetted through the 5 year plan, right? Anything that we're looking forward to doing is based off of this plan that we've developed. And we were part of it 18 years ago and part of it 7 years ago and glad to be part of it now. So it's a useful tool. And the more people we get involved and get their opinions on it, the better off we'll all be. So I concur with what you say. And I understand what you're saying too. And just recently, somebody approached staff about different taxes in the community, and it was made in very certain and clear terms that everyone pays the same taxes in this community. Property tax is property tax. It's not a special assessment for one area in Maple Meadows or out at the golf course or back at Centennial. We all pay the same tax. So there is a lot of misinformation.
We're always going to have some people who really don't want change. And I've run into that, Rick, especially like at the gym where I go. I have a couple of older men that go and very unhappy about changes. And the thing I've said is, you know, maybe this isn't going to be something that you want, but there's a lot of young people in the community who want some of these things. So you have to be thinking about not just yourself, but others. That's how I approach it. So, but we're always going to have that too.
Gail, I think you make a great point is that our job as these elected officials, these trustees, is that we're here to represent the community as a whole.
That's right.
And we're not here to serve our own best interests, even though it might be tough at times to separate ourselves. But it's our duty through the master planning project to serve the best interest of the community for the next 5, 10, and then further on into the future. So I agree with Tim. The showing on Wednesday was a little bit light, but the people that did show up were passionate. So please, people, if you're still out in your homes and you're afraid to get out and we've got bad weather or something like that, there are still ways to get involved. You just have to talk to us and we can make sure that those ideas are getting to where they need to be for the process. So I think we have a great opportunity and it's something really exciting to be a part of. And it's the perfect chance to voice your opinion.
Agreed. We kind of got off our track on there, but yeah, it was a good discussion for sure. What's even better is getting recognized by the American Public Works. I still got to go back to that. That's really cool, and to see that, I hear it from people in the community, but to see and hear it from our peers and municipal works and the people that do this for a living, that's something to be proud of.
Yes, and the movement is we lost internet in this building, so we've transferred to a Verizon hotspot that we have here every week. So that's what a little bit of the movement is, and you know,
We're giving you
why
time.
not test Christian out here in week number 2 of operating all this stuff? I don't know. We did get the volume working on YouTube, so we managed that, but we're on a backup hotspot just to let. And again, it's backed up in 2 different locations, so if it wasn't live on YouTube, the entire meeting will be put up right after it. So, Washington Street Lift Station part had not arrived. Today I was notified that will initiate the completion next week. That Millbacher, the supplier, has what was needed. So we should see some activity on Washington Street next week on that. And that's really it. So
We had our first freeze and thaw on the water main.
yeah, we have had put in about 18 hours between plowing and different things since over the weekend and that. And then we noticed it yesterday, a water main leak. And interesting, again, it goes back that water main was on the south side of Highway Street on Main Street, and it was only a few inches above the 36-inch drain of the county drain commission, and who knows the years that these go back to, but the DPW crew and all of them, but especially Tyler and Caleb, who were working where this water's just gushing out in the temperatures that it was, were able to get that steel or whatever the precasted patch through that gap, which was pretty small between the two pipes, and it repaired. So took about 2 hours, and then we were on to the next. So
Well,
they
that's why.
also have a sewer issue on a sewer that dates back to the 40s that they had to jettison out today as well. So hopefully it's a calmer 2 days going into the holidays.
And that's what brought it up. I just wanted to use that as a thanking point to the DPW team. Right, you guys been up for hours and hours and hours plowing, and then have to deal with wet and cold to keep our water flowing. So thank you, DPW crew. We appreciate everything you do for us.
That'll do it for my
All right,
report.
thanks, Jim.
I
So I know.
will, if I can, Mr. Frisbee, because we will get to citizen comments for non-agenda items. The President Frisbee will call out, and then when he does, at that time, if people wish to speak, if they can raise their hand electronically, we'll certainly get to them.
So take us to committee reports. Did we have any movement on the tree committee?
Nothing.
Not since then.
No, nothing since you canvassed, and I think probably now it will be waiting until spring.
Good time to work on the budget, though.
Yeah.
In Mike's ear, budget.
Budget.
I don't think we have an update on Parks and Rec.
Just that Bob Prater and Rachel Plankenhorn. I think that brings us up to a full staff now on Parks and Rec. The big cleanup we were supposed to do with the Lions group was Saturday, the same day that we had a lot of snow. Kind of tough to do that. So we've pushed that out to this upcoming weekend, weather permitting. And we have another meeting Monday night.
The Cats meeting is this Wednesday, and I'll just jump to the sewer is tomorrow. So that leaves Planning Commission was canceled from lack of agenda items last week. So we have South County Fire.
Yes, we do. Okay. Actually had a fairly busy meeting last Wednesday. First off, the Chiefs had pretty much zeroed in on the new apparatus that they were looking at. It's a Pierce Saber, is the unit. The sticker price on it is $818,904. So after everybody kind of gulped at that a little bit, we do have some cleanup to do though. The Chiefs want to meet and kind of go through things because there are some items on that unit that could be hopefully changed out to a possibly more economical, for like instead of having touch screens and that, they could go with I call them bat switches, but toggle switches. And as I said, functional as opposed to sexy. So that's the term I used last week. And also we discussed we need to seriously look at financing. The truck is going to be a 2-year lead time But we seriously need to look at financing how that would be paid for. I mentioned to you in the last meeting that there was a truck that became available potentially from an entity here in the area, that myself and one of the other members went over and looked at, went through it. Uh, we were told Monday night that the asking price was 65,000. I think I mentioned in the last meeting that it is a 2002 vintage. We thought it was a 2012, but it's a 2002. But it is for its age in excellent condition, and we're confident that it should be able to serve the needs of the authority for a minimum of 5 years. As of right now, they don't have a tanker truck really available, so and we think it would be about 10,000 additional dollars to put it in service, which would be placarding and any type of, because the entity that has it now, they're going to take they're going to take items off the truck that they're going to use. We would have to put items on. So we did make a motion, and it was approved for 65,000 for the purchase of that vehicle, with no more not to exceed another 10,000, so 75,000 total, to purchase that vehicle and outfit it. Um, we also, the old tanker that we have, we passed a resolution. We're going to post it for 30 days for to sell and not take anything less than $7,000. They had an offer for 7,000, but they have a bylaw that it has to be posted for 30 days. So they're going to post it. Hopefully, we'll get more than $7,000 for that unit. So obviously, there again, it's the taxpayers' money. It's not our money. So we were trying to get the biggest bang for the buck out of that. They did have 2 firefighters that were terminated, that we had to vote on, which was unfortunate, but evidently they had licenses or certifications that had expired. So we also discussed financing, which there again we need to discuss more about how we're going to finance new apparatus and new facilities in the future. So that was a topic of discussion. And in facilities, I had told them that, when we discussed in June, when the potential purchase of property failed, and I had suggested that we do an independent study to have them figure out where the best place for a station should be. Nothing's happened since then, so I told them that after the first of the year, we need to get serious about that, which they agreed with. We also had Sherry Lutz, the Schoolcraft village manager, come over and speak. She unfortunately came in late to the meeting, but she was allowed to speak. Evidently, they've had some issues with the village over there on the development, so she wanted to voice her frustrations with that. I'm trying to think if there was something else. Unfortunately, the chief wasn't there Wednesday night. He was out of town, so um, I think that pretty much wraps it up for that. So it was a fairly busy meeting. So, oh, sorry. The proposed budget for 2022, 2023, I have forwarded to Village Manager Mallory and to President Frisbee, for our review as a council. The board would like a resolution back by next meeting in December. So I would say next meeting we'll have that on the docket to go through. So, or at least what staff's opinion is on the budget, so that we can be informed and make a decision. So,
For fire.
yes, for the fire authority. There you go. End of
Thank you
report.
very much. So this is time for citizens' comments for anything they want to comment on. If
First, if we can, we'll go electronically. So via the remote access in, again, if you're on a computer, just move your cursor, hit the raised hand button that says you wish to speak. I think I'm showing everyone is on a computer, but if you're on a phone, you must dial *9 to indicate your hand raised, so I'll give it a couple minutes. I don't know who. I thought I saw someone raise their hand on Zoom. So, okay, let me, and I'll hit allow to talk. And if you can state your name and address.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Liggy. So that moves us to anyone on the inside.
Yeah, I don't. There's two other people on Zoom, and we'll see if they raise a hand. But yes, on the inside.
We can come back to him. Rebecca talk.
Back to Rebecca.
Hi, my name's Rebecca Walters. I'm at 420 South Kalamazoo Ave, Vicksburg, Michigan. I want to make it known that I find it a little amusing that you guys all sat here and just talked for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm trying to get the most amount of people to come out for the master plan, but not one of the dates are on your newsletter. You only have the QR code. And when you go to the village calendar, there is not one date on the village calendar. It was a fluke that I got the email and I opened it up because I don't have social media. I don't have Facebook anymore. Fun fact from 2010, 35, around 33 to 37% of the people that we have in Vicksburg are amongst the generation that don't have social media and don't pay attention to those things, the social media things. So if we don't get these letters that tell us what's going on, we don't know what's going on. And if you don't have sewer or septic, you're not probably getting these letters. And there's no dates. So if you want the most people to come out, let them be aware of the dates that's not on Facebook. And then also for the trees, Gail, you came out and did look at all the trees, and I came out and greeted you because I didn't want my tree to go nowhere. But in doing so, we skipped 2 trees in front of my house at Tony Frisbee, no relation to Tim Frisbee's house. There's 2 dead trees, and they need to come down. We actually have a branch that is completely off the tree, laying on our electrical lines. I did contact the emergency response line over the weekend because I thought it was the snowstorm. They said they'd send somebody out to look at it. No one did a thing. And then I was talking to my neighbor, like, hey, just so you know, I reported this. She's like, oh, it's been like that for a minute. And when I called the village to report the trees, I was told that you guys don't handle those trees. It is the residents' responsibilities. But yet, if you look at our property lines, they end before the sidewalk. So how can you tell us that they're our responsibility when it's actually village property? So we need those trees looked at and that branch taken down because it's going to cause a major power outage soon. With the weight of the snow that we had over this week, though I have faith in those power lines. Let me tell you, they hold a lot of weight. And then, is there a DPW after hours for situations like that? Is there an emergency number in our village that we can contact in the morning? Because you guys have crew members out before the village is even open. And we can't contact anybody to let anybody know what's going on. Or if, there was one time I had to text you because we had left blockades up after a parade or after an event. And I was like, hey, the event's open. Like, do you want me just to move these aside? You know, so we need to figure out if there's emergency contact. And then if you go to Clark Park, the bridge, the little bridge, the decorative bridge, that probably needs closed off. It is extremely unsafe. You walk on it with a stroller and your husband, you'll question life choices. There's wobbly boards there. I felt
The viewing
the
deck.
one right here in
Viewing
between
deck.
Speedway, yep, by the waterfall. That lovely little bridge is see, it's time. I went there about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and took it with my husband, my daughter, and our stroller, and
You're
it's
talking the bridge from Washington Street,
no at the park.
right? The small at Clark Park.
Yeah.
There's a small bridge on Washington Street. The bridge or boardwalk that we just did is off Prairie. I believe, just to clarify, you'd be talking about Washington Street,
Yes.
closer to the dam where
Yes.
the water falls.
Yep. Sorry. Yep. The decorative one. That's just to get over the little stream right before you get to the playground.
Yeah, okay.
That one probably needs blocked off for the rest of the winter until it's looked at because it's not safe. Other than that, if we can also get our calendar updated with the dates for this online because it's not on there. It only has our basis dates of Parks and Rec, the village meetings, and I don't even think Fire Authority's on there. It might be, but there's only a couple events on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, and not to take anything away from staff, we kind of contracted McKenna to take this ball and lead this project in the interaction with the residents. So we'll have a talk with them and
So the council's aware when the utility bills went out and that was put in the newsletter, the dates weren't established because we didn't have them from McKenna. The day that we received it from McKenna is when we put it out on social media, and anyone who, I think if I heard Rebecca correctly, she received it on email because she's taken the time to plug in her email. We have our front office staff on calls and inquiries, and I'll re-up that it will be a priority to try to secure emails from as many residents because we can plug in their emails. So anything we put up on social media, anything we send out, automatically goes to every email that's registered within our system. But the reason all we knew is it was coming up, and that's why we put it in the newsletter. The dates weren't established yet, nor the locations.
I will say though that Rebecca has a point about people like myself who I will not be on Facebook. I will not be doing any of the social media. So we are left out quite often. Like when they say, you know, whatever that little thing is that you're supposed to put your phone up to get, I don't have that ability to do that. And so whenever that comes up, that just leaves me out totally. So I think that was a good point. So thank you.
anything else? Any other questions, staff? So we'll move on to trustees' time.
If I can answer one question, because she asked about after hours contact. First, anything to do with power lines, our DPW doesn't that would be a power line issue. And and on so any other emergency then would way to contact the village if it is in fact an emergency would be through the police department, who's here 24/7, and even county dispatch. And if need be, they would contact Chief Sanderson or myself. Um, Fortunately or unfortunately, enough people in this town, which I'm quite sure is about 90+%, have my cell number because I receive calls every day of the week, no matter where I am in the world. So
This takes us to trustees time, and I'll start with our new trustee, Ms. Wendy Fields.
Well, thank you very much. And I'll just say, I know I sat here very quiet this evening, but pretty soon you'll wish I was sitting here that quiet. I'm looking forward to being a part of this group and lending whatever insight and experience I have to help continue the village to grow.
Thank you very much. Trustee Holmes.
Well, first, it's good to hear I won't be the chatty one anymore on the council. So thank you, Wendy.
Well, not yet anyway.
Well, I got to live down the legacy, I guess. I just would like to say first and foremost, congratulations to Trustee Keller for being reelected and welcome to Trustee Fields as well. I also appreciate comments, Rebecca, from you and others in the community because, again, when you come off of talking with people running for a reelection, it's a report card. That's what I told people. Look at me and voice your opinion based upon what you know about the candidates, not whether you like them or they're your friends. And so that again, it's refreshing to come off of that because it invigorates you. It makes you feel a little bit more plugged in to what's going on in the community. And I would just finally like to say thanks to the folks. It's my understanding that the polls were actually open late on election night, later than normal, simply because of the large number of people that turned out. So it was great to see people out there.
Trustee Olson.
So I'm awake down here. Um, if you know me, you know I hate snow. God, I hate snow. And Saturday I had to come back from Pawpaw in the worst blizzard conditions I've seen in quite a while. But I thought the amazing fact is that the minute I hit the car dealerships on Portage Road, the snow disappeared. It just, one minute it's white out, you can't see 100, 200 feet, and all of a sudden it's nice and clear. So the only other thing I'd like to say is congratulations to the Minden Hornets football team. I see that they're going to go to the state championship again. I wish our Detroit Lions could do as well as, uh, well, they got a chance. Yeah. Yeah. And I admit they're looking a little better, but still, when Menden can go to the state championships and Lions have never made it to the Super Bowl. Anyhow, but no, congratulations to them. I always check the football scores, and Vicksburg is first and Menden's always second. I've been a big fan of their team for years. So congratulations to them, and I hope they win. Thank you.
Trustee Wagner.
Not much, but a big thank you to DPW. It's been a long weekend. I'm sure they spent countless hours in the cabs of those trucks and in that new snow brush we've got for the sidewalks. I saw that in action this weekend. It does a fantastic job of cleaning that new sidewalk. So it's looking great down there and not damaging it. We're not digging it up with that plow blade. So that was a very good call from staff on that purchase. Welcome to Wendy. Looking forward to having you. And congratulations again to Carl and Rick on your reelection. It's going to be another fun 2 years, I can say, working with you. So, other than that, I hope everyone has a fantastic holiday and Thanksgiving this week. So, if you're traveling, travel safely. And we're looking forward to having you at our next community meeting on the master plan.
Trustee Reister.
Well, you just stole a little bit of my thunder, but that's okay. I just was so impressed at how DPW took care of our roads. I had to go somewhere on Sunday and was really worried about it. And Vicksburg roads within the village were excellent. Now, W Avenue, which we don't have anything to do with, and Portage Road were awful. But the village did a beautiful job of clearing out our roads. So I am very appreciative of that. And I'm happy to have Wendy here so that I'm not the only woman on the council. So congratulations. And Rick and Carl, glad that you're back. And I think we're going to have a really good couple of years for us and 4 years for you. So congratulations.
I'll be quick. Sometimes we sit up here and don't respond. Um, who?
Poor Carl.
I feel like Rodney Dangerfield here.
I'm kidding. No respect.
Hey, Judge.
Oh, I just messing with you.
No, you weren't messing with me. That's. I'll make it brief. Wendy, welcome to the council. Rick, congratulations on being reelected. I appreciate that. Rebecca, appreciate your input as always. DPW did an excellent job this weekend. It was horrific. I had to do a craft show with my wife. That's 2 and 2 weekends that I've helped her with craft shows. So, and I postponed closing my cabin down and deer hunting for that. So, I'm sure she appreciates it. But um, uh, did want to say that I encourage all the residents to get out to these 2 remaining meetings if you can. I'll be at the one next week because it'll be in my area of town. So I think it's important. I know it'll be Rebecca, same with you. So I encourage you, if you're talking to people, make them aware of it, please. So in a way we know what people are wanting for this village for 5 years. So also want to let everybody know that on the 3rd, I think it is, December 3rd, it's before our first meeting. There'll be somebody ringing the Salvation Army bell at Family Fair. They'll be dressed in a red suit for the Lions Club. So if you happen to stop by to buy something, be sure to put some money in the kitty from 10 to noon that day. So
Is it going to be you?
I'm not saying my grandkids might be watching. So anyways, thank you.
Good choice. And I won't forget you next week. Promise. Yeah, I'll just make it quick and to address the crowd that, sometimes we don't directly answer some of the comments by the residents, but believe in the background, we're all working to take care of the issues that are in front of us. We had a lady on tonight talking about her water. We had a council member that we put the same policy on her. She was getting hit with 5 REUs for a property she owns. So consistency is what we try to do in the policy we try to maintain. But we do have a response that's coming soon. And with that, we'll call it adjourned. You got something else you want? I just want to make a motion to get out. I'll entertain a motion.
A motion to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion is adjourned.